Picture this. You are sitting in a quiet cafe, a cup of coffee in front of you, and an English book in your hands. You read a sentence, then another, and slowly, without even realizing it, you are thinking in English. Not translating, not studying, just reading. That is the quiet power of reading in English. And today, I want to talk about why it might be the most underrated tool in your entire language learning journey. I'm Sarah, and this is English in Real Life. Most people learning English focus on the obvious things: speaking practice, grammar exercises, and vocabulary lists. And all of those things matter, but reading tends to get left behind, either because it feels slow or because people do not know where to start. And that's a mistake, because reading does something for your English that nothing else quite replicates. When you read in English, you are exposed to the language in its most complete, most carefully constructed form. Writers choose their words deliberately. They build sentences with precision. They use vocabulary in context, embedded in meaning, in emotion, and in situation. And your brain absorbs all of that. Not just the individual words, but the patterns, the rhythms, the way ideas connect. Over time, those patterns become part of the way you think, and that's when your English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling like something you actually own. Section benefits. The first major benefit is vocabulary. Not just any vocabulary, contextual vocabulary. Words you encounter inside a story, inside a real piece of writing. Research consistently shows that we retain vocabulary far better when we learn it in context than when we study it from a list. When you read a word inside a sentence connected to a character, a situation, or an emotion, your brain creates multiple connections around it, and those connections make the word stick. You don't just know what it means, you know how it feels, you know when to use it. The second benefit is grammar, and this one surprises people. Most learners think of grammar as something you study, rules you memorize, tables you fill in. But the way native speakers internalize grammar, the way it becomes automatic, is through massive exposure to correct, fluent language. When you read regularly, you see correct grammar structures again and again, and gradually, without consciously studying them, those structures become part of your intuition. You start to feel when something sounds right or wrong, not because you remembered a rule, but because you've read it correctly so many times that the wrong version just sounds off. That feeling, that instinct, is what fluency actually is. Section Tips and Conclusion. The solution is not to avoid reading. The solution is to read at the right level. There's a concept called comprehensible input, material that is just slightly above your current level. For B2 learners, this might mean graded readers, quality news articles, or novels written in clear, direct English. The key is to find something genuinely interesting to you, because engagement drives retention. One practical tip: read with a notebook nearby. When you encounter a word you don't know, write it down. Not just the word, the whole sentence, the context. This simple habit transforms passive reading into active vocabulary building, and over weeks and months, the results are remarkable. Section Vocabulary Time. Vocabulary time. To replicate. Stress on plea. Replicate. To copy or reproduce something in the same way. Acquisition. Stress on C. Acquisition. The process of gaining a skill or knowledge naturally. To internalize. Stress on ter. Internalize. To absorb something so deeply it becomes automatic. Comprehensible. Stress on hen. Comprehensible. Clear and easy enough to understand. Retention. Stress on ten. Retention. The ability to keep or remember something over time. Thank you for being here. Keep reading, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.